folks, how you doing? This is Glenn Glasper, affectionately known as Mr. Dollar Out of a Dime, and as you know, most of you know, this is the Real Life Real Estate Investing Show where we bring you real life real estate situations.
That's right.
But we also provide real life real estate solutions. And this is our first show of January 2018, and I couldn't think of a better person to kick this show off with this year than my sister, my friend, Miss Cynthia Bragg, the superstar wholesaler. And so you guys, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. Those of you that are watching, go ahead and share this in your news feeds. Go ahead and share this in your real estate groups, in the business groups and entrepreneur groups, because we want to make sure we share this information with as many people as possible. So without further ado, Miss Cynthia, it has been a long time. Let me turn my volume down here. We were supposed to do this a long time ago.
Yes, we were. Yes, we were.
But with you traveling the world and doing the many things that you've been doing, it's been kind of hard to lock you down, which is a good thing. Thing. So I'm glad, and I appreciate you taking the time to come and be on our little old show. Because I know you got plans to travel the world again real soon, but we'll get into that. So let's talk about who is Cynthia Bragg. I know a lot of these folks that are watching, they already know who you are.
Okay.
They know you're a superstar wholesaler.
Well, I just appreciate the platform. I appreciate the opportunity to be able to sit here with you on your show and give my feedback on my experiences with wholesaling. I appreciate being able to come out and be a part of Shark Tank. Got a lot of experiences there. I mean, that was the ultimate show for me, to actually sit there in front of the sharks, get the feedback, learn from that experience, and then go out and then turn it around to where I could become a shark. I mean, that was the ultimate goal, and that was the greatest feeling to know that I could do that. So that was good. So I appreciate it.
I am still inspired by that transformation.
Yes.
So let's talk about how you got your start in real estate investing.
Okay. I pretty much started in-house jerk, really, just learning the ins and outs of the wholesaling aspect of it. I had experience in loans and a lot of rentals back in California. But when I came to Atlanta, I teamed up with people that showed me a different avenue of how to go about and do it with no money down. So that pretty much started the thing with me being a wholesaler and getting a rapport with the sellers and getting a rapport with other wholesalers or real estate investors or different agents, and starting to build a network that way.
I know that's kind of how we met. We met. Don Jacobs called me up, House Jerk. Shout out to Don. Called me up and said, "Hey, meet me over at such and such." When Don called you, you gotta get down and lay down.
Exactly. That's true.
So I met you guys. I think it was over at Varsity.
Yeah, hamburger place.
And we were talking about some deals, and I said I had a couple deals for sale.
Yeah.
And I don't even think we knew each other's name yet.
Yeah,
you said, "I want to buy it."
Yeah. You were actually my first house that I was going to buy.
Okay.
And I had to be reminded, okay, wait a minute. Do
Right.
due diligence. Find out, what's the ARV, how many repairs do it need? Because once you told me everything about it, and you said, hey, it only needs $5,000 worth.
Right.
And I was like, I'll take it. So, yeah, that was a real good experience, just to know that wasn't that long ago.
Right.
It really wasn't that long ago, and just to see the different things that we've been through and the accomplishments that I've made, you made, it's great. I mean, it just proves that if you just stay out here working and networking, things can actually really happen.
So we're going to talk about your accomplishments, because from that time, and then you come to Shark Tank.
Right.
And present your deals, and like you said, you got the feedback that you got, and from that moment, and then I got to make sure we're gonna get to zoom in on these later on. You rocking the real life real estate investing bracelets. Those things have actually been all over the world.
Oh yeah, and I don't take them off. I really leave these things on. I believe that they are my good luck, because since this Shark Tank thing and the real estate investing, I have really actually stepped it up and started doing more deals. So it's like, it's a mindset.
Absolutely.
Once you feel it and you believe it and you know you can do it, you just go. And that's basically.
Definitely. And you could tell that, pardon me, I'm a little under the weather. I'm trying to get rid of this. You can tell that once you got that information, that you learned how to present your deals and how to package them and how to put it all together, that you took off.
Game changer.
You took off. I said, wait a minute. Now everywhere we go, I wish we had one of those signs in here with us. Everywhere we go, if you guys are here in Atlanta, everywhere where you go in the metro Atlanta area, you probably see the sign that says Cynthia Buys Houses. And I want y'all to know this is Cynthia. and you know, just from that and to see the transformation, I mean, then you said, we did another, a real quick interview at House Jerk. One night I was over there, and I remember you said, I'm going to be taking the month of October off. I think it was October. You said you were going.
That's correct.
You want to take 30 days off to travel around the world.
Right.
And I said, okay, that's interesting. You know, you hear people say that, you did say that's interesting. Yeah. Next thing I know, I click on Facebook, and you're in Hong Kong or somewhere like that.
Yeah.
I said, wow, she said she was going to do it, and she's doing it.
Oh, yeah.
You know, that right there in and of itself is inspirational. Yeah. You know, to me, hopefully for those that are watching as well, it's inspirational to me to know that transformation that you made. Right. And like you said, it began as a mindset. It is a mindset. It continues as a mindset. Right. And a lot of times people don't take advantage of the possibilities, Right. But you, on the other hand, created your possibilities. Yeah. So how did you get to the point of being able to say, I'm going to take 30 days off and travel around the world? How did you get to the point of actually saying that and being able to do it?
By working hard. I mean, working to the point where it's 12 o'clock at night, it's pouring down raining, it's cold, and I'm still out there putting out signs. And in between putting out signs at the stoplights, I'm calling sellers. I'm calling other wholesalers, other real estate agents. I'm networking. I'm not stopping because I have a goal. And the goal is put a certain amount of money aside because I'm never going to work for anybody else again in my life. I'm unemployable. When I went to Hong Kong, it was for an interview, and it was about a job at a bank for $80,000 a year. And I went with the set like, okay, I'll go see what they're talking about. But as I thought about it, I was like, hey, how can I take a job that pays me $80,000 a year where in this business you can potentially make that in a month? Absolutely. So I would be selling myself short. So I knew that I had to work hard, I had to be my own boss, and I had to self-motivate. And that's what I did. At Shark Tank, when they told me, hey, this is a good deal, but you need to go back to the seller and you need to go back and do this, tweak that, and make sure that when you package it and present it, it looks this way. And so I took that information, I made it a part of me, I changed my mindset, and I went for it. And since then, I came back from Dubai and I closed 5 deals in one day.
5 deals.
And that was my biggest payday. That was the greatest day of my life outside of the days I had my children. And I was just grateful that, people are out here, people like you are doing this broadcast to let everybody know that you can learn this business, you can do this business, and that you're giving them the proper information to be successful. Definitely. Because if you don't listen and there's nobody to show you, then you'll fumble. Keep fumbling and keep making the same mistakes. But because I was given the right information, I was able to take that information and change my life with it.
See, I want to say you inspired a lot of people when you came back and closed those 5 deals in one day.
I inspired myself.
But you probably hurt some people when you did that. Let me tell you how.
Okay.
When I see that you came back and closed 5 deals and you had been gone for 30 days, you closed it one day, I called all my students. I said, what the hell is y'all problem?
Yeah.
I'm like, she been gone for 30 days and come back.
But what it showed me and what it showed me, Glenn, is that you can do real estate from anywhere in the world.
Absolutely.
If you have your laptop, if you have a way to communicate, if you've already gotten these deals together and under contract, because basically all I did was log onto the websites at the different hotels that I stayed at. And I was on the beach, literally on my computer, basically, sending information that need to be sent, doing my due diligence, talking to the sellers, staying in contact with the attorneys. And it just so happens that when I came back, they lined all up like a domino effect. Because I came back 26 days. I was supposed to be gone 30 days, but I said, hey, that's too much money on the table. Right. Cut this short. Let's go home and get this money. So that's basically what happened. But I'm going to just say, I amazed myself. And now that's my goal. Right. Now I have to beat that goal.
Absolutely.
So I'm coming for those 5 deals to beat it.
You set the standard. You set a standard for a lot of us.
I set it for myself. It's like, how am I going to do that again?
Right. I mean, even those of us that have experience, that have been around for a while, I mean, that set a standard for, some people look at, we close 5 deals in a month, we're doing good. But to close 5 deals in a day, you do a phenomenal, And that's when I said, I got some of my students together and I said, hey, listen, this is what you need to be doing to kick it up, to even get to the point of being consistent in what you do.
Right.
And like you said, you were overseas and you were consistently on your computer, on the phone. Even you said when you put out signs, you're consistently on the phone, calling and doing the things that you do. That's the thing that I think a lot of wholesalers, people that get in the business, their major issue is consistency.
Right.
Not sticking to the plan. First of all, not having a plan.
Right.
And then not sticking to the plan.
Right.
But you are the epitome of what it is to have a plan and to stick to the plan.
And I do. It's wrote out. When I get up in the morning, every single day, 50 signs have to go out.
Wow.
It has to happen.
Wow.
Every single day, 5 sellers have to be contacted.
Wow.
Every single day, I have to make some type of call to my contractor to make sure my buy and holds, my rentals are being taken care of. So there's a system to what I'm doing.
Right.
I'm not just out here willy-nilly, I'm going to throw a sign here. No, it has to be, it's systemized. And I realize that once you systemize something, it'll run like a franchise. And you can do it over and over, and you can teach it. But it has to get done. So every day, today, I still got to get those 50 signs out. I still got to get in front of 5 sellers, and I still have to make the phone calls to make sure that the business has already been done is still being attended to.
Wow. So that means I got to get out and put 50 signs out.
Oh, I see.
You had me out. I was out 1 o'clock in the morning one night and say, look, I don't know how many signs Cynthia got out here, but I'm going to try to get as many as she got out.
Yeah, and I say it all the time. You might work with me, but you're never going to overwork me.
That's right.
And the reason no one's going to overwork me is because I'm always working. I can be on my way to the movies. I can be on my way to the airport. I can be overseas, and you best believe those 50 signs are going to get out.
That's
those 5 sellers are going to be contacted. Everything's still going to be handled because it's a system.
Right.
And so that's when I noticed that, the money changed, who I felt I was changed. It all changed because I was able to realize what needed to be done in order to get successful and be able to go and do that. So I will actually be going another 30 days at the end of March, and basically for the same reason, meeting international investors and building a rapport and a relationship with them because they want to buy in Atlanta markets, because the Atlanta markets are really, really hot.
Absolutely.
This is where you want to be. If you want to spend money, you want to make money, you need to be in this market, and they all know it. They just don't know who to go to, who to trust. So I take the time to go over, meet with them, and say, hey, this is what I can give you, this is what I can bring you, and this is what you'll need to put in, and this is what you'll get as far as a return. And I just build that rapport, and I'm really leaning towards doing more of that so that I can build my brand towards being the international wholesaler.
That is good stuff. That's good stuff. So I want to retrace just a little bit. So we met in Don Jacobs' car.
Yep.
We're talking about doing it for your first deal.
Exactly.
You went from that, then coming to Shark Tank, to presenting a deal. Then you came back to Shark Tank and you had your stuff in order.
Oh yeah, I was ready to buy. I was a buyer.
I'm talking about the second time.
Yeah.
But then the third time we had you at Shark Tank, you were on the panel.
Right.
As a buyer, having people present deals to you.
Exactly.
And you described to a T the formula that it took you to get to that point. But I want to make sure our viewers that are watching, we got a few people that are joining us. We have Mark Xavier, thanks for watching. Got a couple other folks that are joining us. I want to make sure you guys don't forget to share this in your news feed. Please go ahead and share it in your group so we want people to be able to get the information. And we're also going to have a Q&A session, so please don't forget to drop your questions and we'll get back around to answer your questions. So we're talking about your transformation or your evolution, if you will, to going from starting to look at buying your first deal to then being able to be a presenter on the Shark Tank style real estate investing. For those of you who don't know what that is we have a panel of investors that come and sit on the panel, and wholesalers come and present their deals to those panelists, or the panelists, that's the people that sit on the panel. And the people that are sit on the panel are real buyers who actually, Cynthia was a real buyer, is a real buyer, and looking at those deals that they can purchase them for themselves, or, they have cash to purchase. So, and we'll be doing something like that, again soon. So, that evolution, as you mentioned, takes hard work.
Yes.
It takes consistency.
Yes.
It takes having the right mindset.
Yes.
In all of that, I imagine there had to be some type of challenges.
Oh, yeah.
What could you say about any obstacles or challenges that you may have faced that in the midst of all of that you were accomplishing and are still accomplishing? What could you say about the challenges that you faced and how you overcame them?
I can say that you're going to run into challenges, because that's just any part of any business. You're going to run into things that you didn't foresee, that you may or may not have any control over. And the best way to deal with it, and the way that I dealt with it, is education.
Absolutely.
Educate yourself.
Absolutely.
Know what you can do, know what you can't do, know what you should be doing. And I want to talk about a particular challenge that I ran into, and it cost me quite a bit of money. But there was a situation where I had contracted up 2 houses with another wholesaler. And at this time, I thought he was a buyer, which sometimes you can be a buyer and a wholesaler. It just depends on if you're going to keep it for yourself or if you're going to pass it off. So in this particular instance, I thought this gentleman was going to actually buy them. And that's fine. But my objective in my contract states that I want to deliver you a clear title in order for you to buy it, to make sure that everything works out in the favor, so that you don't have anything on the liens or any water liens or any problems that could come back later. So that's the purpose of putting it in with an attorney and making sure there's a preliminary title report ran, and that you get back.
Doing it the right way. Huh?
Yeah, the only way. Legal, right, and
right.
This way you get repeat business and you continue to grow, because you're selling a service. And so I did that, and what happened was this particular gentleman decided that he was going to go break the locks on both properties, enter the property without permission, and then start removing things out prior to purchasing it. And what that did is it caused a lot of rift between the sellers and myself, and between me and that particular wholesaler buyer, because he didn't have clear title. He didn't have money in to actually purchase it. So it's like going to a restaurant and eating up the food and not paying, or it's like going to a car lot and driving off with the car but you haven't paid for it. And so that was a real challenge for me, because I didn't expect anything like that. And this was a person who has lots of experience, and so I felt because of that I should have never ran into this. So it was really hard for me to deal with it, because I was like, this should have never happened. So I had to really find some kind of self-control and calm in myself to say, hey, I'm going to lose these deals all behind something that should have never happened from somebody who should have known better. So that probably was my biggest challenge last year.
So let me make sure I get this right. You said you were selling these properties to a buyer/wholesaler.
Correct.
That above anything, did you do a contract? Did you at least do a contract?
I did.
So there was a contract. Was there earnest money?
There was earnest money.
Okay, so that at least that part happened. Right. So there was a contract. There was earnest money. Was there a closing?
No closing.
So there was no closing. So the person was buying and still went into the house and.
Yeah.
I have to ask, in the words of is it our urban saying, where they do that at?
That's exactly what I said.
What they do? I mean, how does that happen where someone can actually go into a house and, I mean, that's trespassing.
Yeah.
That's.
And he took things out of the property, threw them away, and then he tore down stuff on the property. I mean, literally just demolished it as if he had already paid for it, and it was his. And we hadn't closed. We didn't even have title back. So you can imagine how I felt when I got the call from the seller that the stairs had been torn down, or that the stuff had been torn out, or that the locks had been broke. So I'm sitting there like, how am I going to figure this one out, you know? So that was the biggest challenge of the 2017, and, you know, lost quite a bit of money. But, you know, this is the business. You have to just keep going.
Yes.
You have to just brush it under the rug and just learn.
Absolutely.
Learn from this experience, and there's nothing you can really do with it for the next time, because it's just not supposed to happen. That's basically what your contract does. It's instructions of how the deals are supposed to go, and I'm pretty thorough with mine.
Right.
And, you know, I make sure that I let people know I'm going to deliver you free and clear title. I'm going to make sure that you don't have any problems down the line when you purchase it, but you have to give me that opportunity to do that, and that's basically the attorney's job. Wow. So before the attorney could get his job done.
So I'm going to go ahead of the attorney. Yeah. I'm going to do what I want to do.
Oh, he'd ordered appraisals. He had did the whole nine.
Wow.
And he had spent like $400 per property.
I don't know. Okay. I don't know what that is. But that's interesting that you said there's someone that has experience.
Oh, yeah. Someone well known in the wholesaling business game that we look to as a really big, huge buyer in the industry. So I was very shocked.
Okay.
You know, I was very shocked.
We won't give too much detail on the
I
show.
was just very shocked that, you know, you asked about challenges.
Yeah.
And you know me, if you ask, I'm going to tell you. So be ready, you know.
Right, keep
you might want to tip around that there.
Hey, listen, this is real life real estate investing.
And I just told y'all a real life situation.
Wow.
So you don't want to hear the real?
Absolutely.
Don't come to the real life real estate investing, because that's what you're going to get. You're going to get what's real.
It's amazing that something like that can happen in this day and age of education abounding.
Exactly.
And some people would still attempt to try something like that. I mean, whether they think you're experienced or not, why would you attempt to do something like that? You know, but that is a true example of real life real estate investing.
Right.
You know, it's oftentimes interesting is the word I'll use, where people will try different things in this business just to see how much they can get away with.
Right.
You know, it's just amazing that, you know, you have some wholesalers that will send out properties with no ARV, no repairs, but they have a price.
No pictures.
No pictures.
They don't know how you can get in and access the property. They have no idea.
But they haven't fixed in their mind how much they want for it.
Oh, yeah.
So that's what I'm like, how do you get to that point? Everything that I've ever learned, even from the very beginning, is about the numbers.
Right.
And when you look at the numbers equate to a couple of different, you can't get an equation from one number.
Right.
You have to equate what the house will be worth, what it's going to cost to fix up, and then what it costs to buy it for, and see if that number that you're buying it for makes sense based on those other numbers.
Right.
It's amazing to me that people in this day and age, and I guess because wholesaling is the sexy thing to do, still try stuff like that.
Yeah.
I mean, forget.
I had a property that I owned come back to me with $30,000 on top of it.
And
the numbers totally
let's talk about that.
The numbers totally didn't make sense anymore. And so this is why I can appreciate this show, because you have people who see the glam of this. They see the cars, the trips, the houses, and the money, but they don't see the flip side of what really goes on and the things that you can run into, the challenges. And that's very important, that they see the real picture, because this is real life. This is really happening.
Absolutely.
This is not fake. This is real stuff. So if you're going to get in this business, learn this business, know your ARVs, know what it's going to cost to repair the property, know that what the property across the street or around the corner sold for, and that know that you can sell it for that. And also know that if it happened well over 2 years ago, it doesn't count.
It doesn't apply.
And then that goes for the sellers too. If you see that a house down the street sold for $180,000 and you want to get that $180,000, understand that you need to have countertops, you need to have wood floors, you need to have the same thing that house has that it sold for. And that's what I tell them. I says, okay, I'll give you the $180 if you've got the countertops already done, you've got the floors already in. Well, no, I don't have that. I want to sell it to you to do that. Okay, well then you got to sell it to me at a price so that I can do that.
Absolutely.
And I'll gladly do it. But this is the part that nobody sees, nobody wants to talk about. People just want to say, hey, we're out here making money, we're doing things, we're doing big things. But no, it's a flip side. And you got to know these numbers, because if the numbers don't work, the deal doesn't work. If it don't make dollars, it don't make sense.
Absolutely. So I find that absolutely amazing. That, again, I mean, you know, we're talking real life real estate investing. You talked about a deal that you got back.
Yeah.
You know, somebody sent it back to you.
Yes.
Marked up $30,000.
Yes.
I was telling you about my situation. Like, I had a deal that I was selling. Well, actually, I was selling to a student. I had no intention of selling to anybody else. I had purchased it to rehab it myself.
Okay.
So I was selling it to a student to, you know, help her through the rehab process and show her how it all works and, you know, to help her make some money in it. And somebody called me and said, do you still have this property at this address? I said, well, yeah. You know, they said, well, is it still for sale? I'm like, wait a minute, no, I never said I was selling it.
It just got out there magically.
They sent me an email that they received from somebody else that had marked this property up $25,000. Wow. I said, wait a minute. Okay. And then someone else sent me an email that they got from somebody that it was marked up $30,000. The other tricky part of it is the first one had my actual lockbox code. So I'm like, wait a minute, I never gave anybody the lockbox code. I don't know how some random person, and they sent me the person's name and all that. It was somebody I had no clue of who it was.
Yeah.
And I know quite a few people,
Yeah.
I mean, especially as it relates to real estate.
Right.
And I said, I don't have no clue of this person. I don't even know if this person is even in real estate. But sure enough, that came back, and I was like, wait a minute. Now, if they believe they can get that much for my house, why don't I try and see if I can get that much for my house?
Probably because you ran the numbers.
Yes.
So you already knew. And I think that's what's happening a lot in this business with a lot of newer wholesalers that may not really know the business. If the numbers don't work, then you're not presenting a good deal to the buyer,
right,
because they're not going to be able to rehab it and resell it for the price that makes sense.
Absolutely.
And so those deals, I find, wind up coming all the way back around full circle, which means they don't sell. And as another person puts them out, you'll see the numbers go down a little bit.
Right.
And that's basically what's going on. And I've kind of learned the areas since I've been here in Atlanta. I can take a deal and I can look at it, especially 30032. I know it like the back of my hand. You can just describe a house to me, and I'll tell you what street it is, where it's at, how much it costs, how much work it needs, and if it's a go. And I'll take a look at some, and I'll go, oh, no, that's too much money.
Yes.
Somebody don't know what they're doing. And I'll just keep flipping through. Or what I'll do now is I focus on just basically getting my own deals, dealing with my own sellers, or doing my own purchases, and then rehabbing it and putting it out there, because I understand that the numbers are king. If you don't have the right numbers, your deal's not going to sell, and the person buying it is not going to be happy. And in this business, it's all about repeat business. It's about being able to bring somebody something of value and being a good service, because it's one thing to get in the middle of a deal and then make some money. But it's a whole other thing to say, well, if that deal's coming from her, I know it's a deal.
Right.
If that deal's coming from her, I know she did some due diligence. I know she knows the value because she went and checked. And so that was what I think took me to that next level of wholesaling, because of the buyers that I dealt with trusted my information. And so then once they trusted my information, I began to trust my information. And I took that mindset of, hey, I can be them.
Absolutely.
And that's how it switched around.
Yeah. And that's good stuff. You know, it's so important. It's so important that people understand the basics, the fundamentals of what we do. I mean, you talked about running the numbers. That is the very basic fundamental thing that we do. Like as I mentioned just a minute ago about the equation. How is it that you can send a property with no repair cost? Right. With no ARV, and you have a fixed number in your mind of how you're going to be able to sell it. So, and that's the thing that a lot of, like I said, new wholesalers, I mean, even some experienced wholesalers will even miss the very importance of having that basic information. And I actually am now being told that we have to talk about our event January 20th.
Okay.
January 20th, we're going to be talking about this information and a whole lot more at Master the Money Game. We're going to be talking about real estate investing, tax lien investing. We're going to talk about tons of things, credit, how to get your finances in order and things like that. So definitely check that out. It's at masterthemoneygameworkshop.com. So I had to do that quick commercial.
I understand. That's something you don't want to miss, because
he's
that's valuable information. That's valuable.
Yeah.
I mean, I learned when I went to the Shark Tank for the first time that how you present the deal is how the buyers changed my life. So now when wholesalers send me deals, I tell them, if you're going to send me a deal, make sure you send me the pictures. Make sure you know what the repairs are.
Yes.
Make sure you know what the ARVs. If you don't know that, then I'm not going to look at it.
Right.
So now the game has changed.
Absolutely.
So, I understand.
So now
why.
you know to demand those things. Now.
Oh, yeah.
And one thing I have to say that Frankie Iglesias said one time, he was at the Shark Tank. He said, don't argue with your buyers. Because I've had several wholesalers say, well, no, that's not right. The ARV is this. And I'm like, well, no, not specifically. It's not. Mm-hmm. Well, the repairs are this. No, those repairs aren't. Like, you have people that will argue with you that have never done a rehab deal that will tell you that they know how much something costs to fix up. And the one thing I got from what he said, and it's basically what you're saying is, when someone sends you something and you tell them, this is what I'm looking for, or, I'm looking for pictures, I'm looking for the ARV, I'm looking for these specific things. Because, first of all, what you have to understand is that you're a real buyer. Right. So I'm not just saying these things to you to shoot your deal down. Right. I'm telling you what I need to make a decision on what you're sending me. You know what I mean?
And it's been my experience that every buyer's criteria is different.
Absolutely.
Everything they're going to do to that property, the way they view that property, and how they determine if they're going to buy it, it's all different. It might be a deal to you, but not a deal to me.
Absolutely.
And vice versa for different reasons. You might say, I want it because I want to use it for something else, or I might say, I want it because I want to flip it. And so it just depends. Mm-hmm. So that person, that new wholesaler, has to get out there and get it in front of the right buyer. It doesn't mean it's not a deal. It just means you need to get it in front of the right person who's willing to pay that price. Absolutely.
And who's willing to, and for what I know about how some people are buying now, the formula that we're accustomed to using, which is what we get our maximum allowable offer, which is mail, we're accustomed to using 65%. Right. Some other people's flexibility is up to 75%.
That's right.
Because, first of all, some of those other people they're not using the type of financing that some of us are using.
That's right.
So their money cost is not as high as some of ours.
That's right.
So they have the ability to either pay cash or they're 100% financed, and they don't have that extensive cost. So you're right. What might be a deal to someone else might not be a deal to some people. Right. So
because hard money costs more.
Absolutely.
Costs more, so they're not going to be willing to pay as much for that property as someone who's paying cash.
That's correct. So we got a couple of people that have chimed in that have some questions. Okay. I want to acknowledge some people that are watching with us. Marv Xavier says, "Amazing, Cynthia."
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Marv.
Jeffrey Love. We have Miss Beatrice Cleveland. Hello, Beatrice Cleveland. How you doing? Thanks for watching.
Hey, Beatrice.
Ashley says, hey Cynthia. Ashley Sanchez.
Ashley.
We have Renee, and I believe she says, how will you avoid this in the future? And I want to say that she's talking about the situation that you ran into with the wholesaler buyer.
Breaking in the house.
Oh, yeah.
Good. How do you avoid an idiot? I don't know.
I
don't know. I guess you just pray, Lord, don't let me run into no idiots today.
Right.
What do you do? I don't know.
That's about the best answer I would have given. Because idiots are out there. You have to...
With 2 years experience, they're out there.
Yes. Believe it or not. So don't be fooled.
It's real.
It's in real life. When somebody says, and I always say this, when somebody says, oh, I have 20 years experience. I have about 20 years experience. But what I equate that to be is me having enough time to figure out a lot of ways how not to do this.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
And one of them is knowing not to break into the house that I don't own yet.
Exactly.
Especially if I haven't been given permission.
Right.
Some sellers say, well, get in the best way you can. and I have to make sure, look, either we going to record this or you going to give me that in writing.
Right.
Because if I go in and get it the best way I can and you say you changed your mind and call the police.
And I'm glad you touched on that, because since I've been doing this, I've learned to kind of try to keep getting better and better. So now I have something in writing. Do I have your permission to go in your house?
Absolutely.
If it has boards on it, okay, sign this. Give me the permission. Because
right.
I don't want to go over there and take down the boards on your house, and I'm climbing through the window, and here comes the police.
Absolutely.
Bam, here's my permission. I can get it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So that, that's why this show, you guys, is so important, because you get to learn the ins and out. You get to learn the good, the bad, the ugly, the pretty. We're not just showing you and selling you the good parts that close 5 deals, make a lot of money. No, we're showing you the real sides of it and how you can actually start to better yourself, and what it is that you need to do to get to that next level.
So
that's why it is so important. That's why I drove an hour to be here for you guys, to be with this guy, because I really appreciate him. He continuously puts out there the good, necessary information that we all need to become better. Because, again, you was there from the beginning when I was in the back seat trying to buy everything. So you understand, and you were able to see the transformation.
Absolutely.
And then acknowledges and say, okay, let's get her on the show and tell her story. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, no, I mean, listen, like I said, it's long overdue. We should have done this a long time ago.
Yes.
But I certainly do appreciate what you do and what you bring to the business. I mean, just the inspiration of being able to start and actually become successful. Yeah. And it didn't take you 20 years. Nope. You know what I mean? It took you just a short amount of time of being consistent and being diligent in what you do, and that's admirable. It don't take 20 years. Somebody say I got 20 years, right?
8
Somebody say I got 20 years experience, like, okay, well, what you do in those 20 years?
Yeah, 8 months can really change your life, and working hard at this business. And really it's the decision. Decide that's what you want to do. Change your mindset that you're going to do it. And a lot of people are not fortunate enough to have the days that we have to be self-employed. So a lot of people are trying to do this and work a job at the same time. Right. But I found that with the people that I've been networking with, it was when we took that leap. It was when we quit those jobs and said, that's it. We're going to do this. And we made up our mind that this is what we were going to do. That's when we saw the change as far as income. I need you to know
how powerful you are. You got your words are very powerful. So we're gonna have 20 people that just gonna quit their job after watching the show.
I mean, listen, if they quit their jobs, I will employ them. I will give them a job. I am serious. If you say, hey, Cynthia, I quit my job and I want to work, I will give you a job. I will guarantee you some money. Because it's out here. If you have a certain amount of people working and networking, and you know how to go get the money, but you need somebody going that way, and you need to be going this way, and I need to be jumping on a plane, we can still get the money. It's just you got to be shown how to do it. You don't have to go work.
I'm quitting my job. The show is over.
I got you.
I'm going to work for Cynthia.
Let's go. I'm serious. I am so serious, because it's like once you realize and know what to do, then you do it.
Absolutely. But, here's what I want to say with that, and it's phenomenal that you'd say that. And I do believe that you would do that.
I'm serious.
But here's the situation. For those people that would consider quitting their jobs to come work for Cynthia, don't waste her time. Because you have some people that they know it all. And they'll come and tell you, well, this is how you're supposed to do all of what you're doing already. And they think that you're going to pay them for telling you how to do what you already know how to do.
No, I'm like McDonald's. When you come work for me, I got to pack it for you. Right? I got to pack it. And this is what you're going to have to do.
Absolutely.
I'm not going to call you and tell you, here it is, read the packet. Just like you get an employee handbook, I got an employee handbook.
Absolutely.
I should have bought it.
Wow.
I should have bought it. I
need to get one of those.
I'm systematic. But you have to be. In order to be able to do different things, be in different countries, you have to have a moving system.
Absolutely.
That has to be followed to the T, and then you get the results.
We have, let's see, thanks for that. We have Ashley who's saying something here. Thanks for all your information, especially as it relates to wholesaling, presenting deals to investors and their exaggerated numbers, unrealistic comps. She said her question is, would you mind sharing your system briefly? Sorry, I missed Shark Tank. Sharing your system?
Oh, sure. My system is to wake up in the morning and put out 50 signs every single day. That has to happen. I have to get in front of 5 sellers No matter what, I have to speak to them. If I don't reach them, then I have to keep calling until I do. That's just two things in the system. Another system is I have to go back and I have to finish any unfinished business that I didn't get to finish the night before. That way I'm constantly finishing business. And then the next thing on my system is I have to constantly figure out ways to open my business up so that I can bring more people in to be a service of people and to help them. And then sixth thing is being able to be a service and do repeat business over and over and over again. And that's pretty much my system. And I found that as long as I do all those things, the success comes.
Absolutely, absolutely. And the challenge in all of that is the first thing that you said is putting 50 signs out a day. 80% of the people are not going to do that.
Not at all. They're not going to do one a day.
Right.
They're going to do it on the day where they ain't got nothing to do, and they're going to go put up one or two, and they're going to get tired.
Right,
or they're going to see police ride by. They're going to like this. As soon as they get called by code enforcement, they're going to stop. I don't stop.
Right.
I just keep doing it. And some days that if I get it done, I do some more.
Right.
And so I done went as far as to not just the big signs, but I done made some little cards that look just like those signs. And I'm getting those out. I'm getting those on the ATMs. I mean, I'm out here 9, 10, 12 hours a day. Because when days I say I'm going to take 30 days off, my work has been done. I don't
know, grind guy. Your competition is here, though.
It's funny.
You might be the grind guy, but this the grind woman right here.
He did a broadcast. He was out filming, and he goes, "Here go one of Cynthia's signs." And he showed it. I just started laughing. He was like, "This lady is out here. She's marketing. She's in the street." But that's what you have to do.
Absolutely.
In this business, you have to stay marketing. I used to own a nightclub. And the reason my nightclub was not successful is because I didn't market it.
Right.
I took the money that I made from selling drinks and on the door and on the kitchen, and I spent it.
Right.
Instead of putting it back in, marketing. That's what I should have been spending it on. So I learned from that.
Right. And that's the thing about what we do. Most of what people don't get about who we are. We're real estate investors, but we're marketers. Our profession is marketing.
Yep.
We happen to buy and sell some houses.
Right.
But marketing is the pinnacle of what we do.
It really is.
And everything.
It really is.
So that's excellent that you said that. And that's a lot of things. A lot of times people will get in the business, they'll make a couple dollars and they won't reinvest in the business.
Now, that's how I met the Hong Kong investor. He was here in Atlanta for a conference, and he said he had saw my signs all the way from up north here, all the way down south to the airport.
Wow.
And he said, I just had to call you.
Have to find out who this person is.
I don't have a house to sell you. I just want to know who you are.
Absolutely.
That I could see that many signs to say that you're out here working that hard. And then when I told him that they're all the way from South Carolina all the way to Alabama,
wow,
he was like, wow. and it's real.
And that's how you got your investor. That's amazing.
That's how I got
amazing. What somebody says, we have Jonique Cousins says, what do you do when they call you about your signs being put up?
It depends on who it is calling me, because they're everywhere. So
I'm thinking she's talking about maybe you ever had any code enforcement calls?
Yeah.
Okay.
They tell me, I'm so tired of taking your signs down. Just you putting them where we can't reach them. I said, that's the point.
Right,
They said that there was this big thing in the office where they were all laughing, talking about who is this person? She must be a monkey because they're way up in the tree. Yeah, it's just been the joke of Atlanta.
It's good stuff, though.
That they just are everywhere. I remember John Stafford and Monique were saying that you could pull over at a truck stop, you're going to see a sign.
Absolutely.
It's true. You can pull up to an ATM, you're going to see a sign. So what I'm doing is branding myself. I'm making my name a household name, that when I call these sellers or when I send them letters, and I say, hi, this is Cynthia from Cynthia Buys Houses. Oh, I know you.
I know you.
I know who you are. I see your signs everywhere. And so it helps, because I had another lady that I called about a house, and she says, well, I don't really want to sell because a guy told me he wanted to buy it, and it turns out he was a wholesaler. He wanted to run so many people in and out of the house, and I didn't like that. And she goes, so I'm kind of just going to, chill for now. And I says, okay, well, I'm Cynthia from Cynthia Buys Houses. If you decide, oh, You Cynthia from Cynthia? I know who you are. I see your signs there. You a real buyer. Okay, well, let's sit down and talk. I'm going to talk to my husband. So it works. It matters.
Absolutely.
It's not just to be doing something. It's not to be a nuisance. It's not to be on, code enforcement's nerves. It's not for that. It's so that people will know if I'm out here working like that. And, I don't want to take all the credit. I have a partner, Dennis, and we get out here. We work.
Right.
We set a certain amount of time. We get out here. We put it out. We make sure it's done. Because if a person see that you're willing to do that,
yes, they
know that you're going to do everything else.
Absolutely.
Because you're showing, you're putting that first foot forward. So,
and again, not to belabor the thought of hammering lazy wholesalers, but I will say this. Like I said, we talked about putting 50 signs out a day. When you also said that when people see that you're willing to do that, they'll see that you're willing to go to the next mile to get the deal done.
That's right.
And that's, I think, a lot of times when we talk about marketing, you have when I said 80% of the people won't do what you do.
Right.
That's where I see that in our business, where our claim to fame is basically marketing, but we want to, most people want the glamour of, I closed this many deals,
right,
but they're not willing to do the work.
Yeah. And you have to do the work.
You have to do the work.
And you have to keep buying them. It's a cost.
Absolutely.
You can't put that many signs out and not have to go buy more.
Definitely.
And then they're taking them down, they're throwing them away. So I've had people call me and say, hey, these are really nice.
Yeah.
I don't want to throw it in the trash. Do you want to come back and get it? But it's a cost. And if you have to keep that cost in mind, so if you're closing deals, you can't just go out willy-nilly spending the money. You have to roll that cost of doing your business back in.
Absolutely.
And that's one of the things that comes off immediately. Okay, made a check, send a check.
Signs. Right.
So
I got to ask, how many signs do you buy at one time?
Thousands.
Really?
Thousands.
Really?
One time UPS pulled up to my house and my whole porch was just full of boxes. And he goes, what is all this? And I was like, don't worry about it. So I had to clear space in the garage because I started off with one box. And then I started off with 2 boxes. And then I started off with 3 boxes. Now I'm probably up to about 15, 20 boxes.
Wow.
And I mean, they're huge boxes.
Yeah.
That, because if you're going to really, and again, this is not a team. This is just me and a partner.
Yeah.
We're getting out there. So what I really pride myself in is I'm doing my own work.
Yeah.
Now, eventually, I'll get to the point where, I pay someone to do it. But right now, it feels good because it shows that drive. It's me telling myself, this is what you're doing to get paid.
That's right.
Working for yourself.
And I remember I saw a video of you when you came back from your trip after you did your 5 closings.
Oh, okay.
It was either that day or the next day you were out in the field looking at houses again.
Oh, yeah. I don't play no games. And then not only that, while I was there, when I was in Dubai looking at property, I was meeting with realtors and investors and working towards doing investments there. Wow. So it wasn't that I wasn't, still working. I was definitely still working, still taking the Cynthia Buys Houses phone calls because I had my phone to where I can answer it, still sending emails. I never stop.
So
if I wasn't sitting here with you right now, I would be working. Right. But this is work too because you have to give back. You have to teach people and make people understand that it's not going to be easy. But if you decide to do the work, you're going to reap the benefits.
Absolutely, absolutely. So you have thousands of signs. You put all the signs up yourself. And you take all the phone calls from those signs yourself?
I take all the phone calls. And I answer my phone. I've had people tell me, it's 3 o'clock in the morning. I was just calling to leave a message, but you answered. I sleep with my phone. I answer my phone.
Wow.
If I get in the shower, my phone's right there. I'm going to catch it before, really, because many times we get in this business and people don't answer their phones. I heard one lady told me, and Will Galloway did a podcast about this, about people not answering their phones, and you get sellers that'll call the next person because that person didn't answer their phone. So when I heard that, I was like, I have to answer my phone. Yes. I don't care where I'm at, where I go, how I roam, I have to answer that phone. Right. Because if I'm going to take the time and the manpower for us both to get out there and do the work and put these signs, somebody's got to answer that phone. So
yeah.
I
Otherwise,
make
it's a waste of time.
It's a waste of time. Yeah.
Phenomenal stuff.
Have you ever called me and I didn't answer?
No.
There's never been a time.
Right.
I'm going to answer that phone. It hardly
right.
ever. It's right here on vibrate, and we're doing an interview, so I wouldn't answer it. But on the way out, I'm calling those people back immediately because that's what people want. They want that good service.
So that leads into a really good question someone asked. What's the best software system you use to find property owners?
Skip Genie, Been Verified, and Locate Plus.
Oh, okay. You're just giving it all up like that, huh?
Hey, they want the real. You guys came here. This gentleman gonna give you the real. He bought me. I'm gonna give you the real. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. If you ask the question, I'm gonna give you the answers.
You said Skip Genie?
Skip Genie.
I don't think I've heard of that one.
Just put you on something new.
I know, right? Yeah. Look, I'm gonna check that out. Well, actually, I send my list to somebody else and they skip trace it.
Okay.
They use
I'm trying to get to your level.
Yeah.
Where I can just send it on off to somebody else and they do all the work.
Yeah. I because with all the stuff we do, and then we have a small team. We have to outsource.
My thing is, I'm scared that person. I do have a couple of people that skip trace for me now, but my thing is, I'm scared that they might get that seller on the phone and say the wrong thing.
Oh, yeah.
And that's why I said, no, if you get a hold of that seller, you got to be able to close it.
Yes.
So that's why I'm like, let me do my own due diligence. Because I would say if I reach 10 sellers, I'm going to close 9.
Yeah. Wow.
I'm going to close 9.
That's a high close rate.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
That's good stuff.
So that's why I need to be the one on that phone. I need to be the one that when they say, oh, yeah, that's me, that's my property.
Right.
Oh, great, glad I reached you. Been trying to reach you for a few days now. I was just wondering if you want to sell it. And then we just go in the back and forth. And they all say the same thing. Oh, yeah, I want to sell it depending on how much money you want to pay for it.
Absolutely.
They all say the same thing. I'll sell it for the right price.
Yeah. I always give them the right price.
Yeah.
That price might not be always what they intended to get.
Oh, yeah, it's never what they wanted to get. It's never what they wanted to get.
Oh, Robin says, I text her at 3 a.m.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I got to talk about Robin for a minute here. I have to because...
Yeah. We're going to have Robin on, too.
Yeah, because Robin has stayed diligent. She's worked hard. When Robin first sent me a property, it said the address and an amount. And one day I said to her, hey, send me some pictures, send me the ARV, and, let me know what the repairs might be. Okay, next thing I know, them properties start coming with the pictures, with the ARV. Robin was on it. So it's good when you see somebody transform in this business and then they start closing.
Yeah.
Because all it takes, I pulled her to the side. All it takes is somebody to show you and tell you, like we're doing here today.
Absolutely.
Because of this show, somebody's going to be successful.
Yes.
Somebody's going to change how they were doing business, and they're going to make a check. And for that, that's our giving back. So that's why I stopped and came, because everybody needs to hear how you do it. Because some places will take you in and take your money, but they'll never give you the real tools to be successful. They'll never tell you, oh, use this tracing company, use this type of contract. Have a system that you use. They're not going to give you the real information. They give you just enough to keep coming back and keep paying them. And a lot of the people charge you $40,000, and you can pull that stuff up on the Google. So I try to be real with people and give them real information and real stuff that works, so that they can say, well, Cynthia told me. When I asked her, she gave me the truth, and as a result, I was able to make some money.
And again, that's what inspires a lot of us, to see that you're applying the things that you learn. And you not only are applying it for yourself, you're actually sharing that with other people.
Oh, yeah, I want to see everybody win.
I'll talk about Robin for a minute. I remember Robin was working a job. Like Robin was, she'd be the first one when the show come on, and when she said she wasn't able to get on to watch it, she's like, oh, I was at work, I couldn't get on the show. Robin, next thing I know, she wasn't working no more. Yeah. But next thing I know, she's at a closing every other week. She's closing deals.
She had to take that leap.
Yeah.
And that's not something you can tell somebody to do, because everybody has to do it in their own time frame, because they know their situation and their bills. But when they make that decision and they do it, you out here now. Absolutely. You got to go for it. And that's basically, so now she's sending me deals at 3 a.m. One day I text her, I said, girl, do you sleep?
Right.
she don't sleep. But yeah, I was just, happy to say I can't wait till her and I get to the closing table together, because I really seen the transformation in her that I saw in me. And she reminds me of myself, because when a person tells you something and you don't take offense, you take that information and you utilize it, then you start getting paid. That's what I saw with her.
That's good stuff. And that's that. Earlier on, I kind of thin skinned when I started real estate investing, and when I used to go to a group, years ago, I'll say it, Georgia RIA. I'm still a part of Georgia RIA, but in the beginning when I was going to the group and I'd hear these guys say, "Oh, that's not a deal. Oh, this doesn't work with that," I'm like, man, I hate them. But what I didn't realize then, and I hope this helps someone else, what I didn't realize then is that I was learning. Even in all my disappointment about them saying that my deal, that I thought was a great deal, wasn't a deal, they were actually teaching me. So that's what I want someone else to be able to receive from what we're saying here today, especially what you said about what you shared with Robin, is don't get offended when someone tells you that it's not a good deal. Don't get offended that they say, well, you don't have the right information for me to make a buying decision. Do what you need to do to go and get that information and make it possible for the person that you're presenting a deal to make a buying decision.
Now, when I get her deals, I know where it's at. I've got the pictures. I know how much they want for it. I know the repairs. I know what's the access.
Absolutely.
It's all there. I don't have to pick up the phone and answer no questions. I can look at it, go do a little due diligence, and if I like it, I buy. And that's how it's supposed to be.
Yeah, and it's another perfect example. You say you learned a lot of that when the Shark Tank presenters told you that. So I remember the next time when you came to present your deals at Shark Tank,
I came correct.
You had everything in order. I say, look at that.
And so that's what it reminded me of. I was just going to touch on that. I'm glad you brought it up. When I was so geeked up, so excited, I'm standing in front of these sharks. I got a deal. I'm like, I know it's a deal. Let's go. Somebody buy it. And they was like, no, that's not a deal. You need to go back and get it lowered. And so I didn't get upset. I didn't get offended. I said, okay, I'm going to do exactly what they told me. I went back to the seller. I got that thing down, and I sold it and made that money, $7,000. I was like, okay, I thank you. And then I came back the next time. I said, thank you. I appreciate that feedback and that input, because it showed me what I needed to go do and make it a deal. So it's okay for it to not be a deal. Just tell me what I need to do, and I'm going to go do it.
Absolutely.
And that's exactly what happened.
That's excellent, excellent. We have Andre Bentley. Thank you guys for watching again. We have Andre Bentley that says, do you do any direct mailing?
I do. I don't do as much as I used to, but I do. And that's just because I got busy with doing a lot of repeat business and word of mouth. More investors will call me, but I do mailers. I try to make sure that I'm getting out. There's a number. I don't have my booklet in front of me, but there's a number of mailers that I want to say, and it's more or less to the tune of at least 200 a week, getting them out. Yeah, and that's very important because that is going to constitute you getting your own business as opposed to contracting somebody else's deal.
Got it.
That's very important. I'm glad you brought that up. That was a good question. Yeah, definitely going to do mailers.
Monica Johnston, thanks for watching, Monica. Thank you for joining us. And she says true, and I think she's talking about one of the things that we said.
Okay. I'm glad somebody can resonate with the information that we're giving.
I'm glad Monica tuned in, because I saw a picture. I don't know if did you make it to the Wonder Woman's event that we did?
I didn't. I was out of town on that one. I really wanted to be there. That was awesome.
We're going to do another one, and you're going to be one of the Wonder Women.
I want to be there. I was like, no, dude. How did you let me miss the all-women's event?
Right.
I thought it was a ploy. I was like, he did this. No, I'm just kidding. But, yeah, I missed it. I was out of town, but I was really, really looking forward. I thought that was awesome when you just put all women on a panel and let everybody give their ideas of, how it worked and their experiences. That's just wonderful because it's different for everybody. It's different as to, how they became successful and different things that they use and do. So it kind of gives everybody an idea of what they can do. and you know who they might best learn from, because everybody kind of learns differently from different people.
It was an awesome event, and Candace actually posted. Candace Connolly, she was one of the panelists.
Right.
She posted a picture that said it was one of her faves for 2017. I was like, man, that was kind of one of my favorites too.
Yeah, we should do that.
So we're definitely gonna have to do that again. I think it was Monica Johnston, Nia Imani, Candace Connolly, Jennifer Butler, Nicola Smith Jackson, and Pavio Dorch.
Pavi.
Yes.
Yeah, awesome panel.
Yeah, it was an awesome panel. I was like, wow.
And wide range experience, from an attorney to the real estate agents to the wholesalers to the buyers. I mean, you've got them all there.
Yes.
So that was awesome. That's power.
Definitely.
When you can bring that, like, you know, the Master the Money Game coming up January 20th. Power. Dr. David Anderson, Robert Yancey. These people bring the epitome of how to do this business.
Absolutely.
And how I listen to David Anderson every single day. We're playing. I'm serious, because it's because of him. I told my son, you don't have to go out and get a job, but you have to get on the computer and find out what it is you want to do. You want to do web design, then I have to see you every day studying web design. But I'm not going to tell you to go work at Walmart, because that's not going to get you nowhere. But had I not watched that podcast, then I would be like every other mother. When you graduate, you need to go to school. You need to go get a job. But we're setting them up for failure, because they come out of school with those all those student loans, and then they can't really get a head start. So I'm not teaching mine that because of Dr. David Anderson. I'm teaching him, find your niche as a self-employment and go for it now while you're young, while you're 18.
Wonderful.
So that's going to be some, and I had just said to my partner, we got to try to make it there. I know that we were supposed to be going to Florida on the 18th and coming back on the 20th that evening, but we're going to try to rearrange it so that we can be there, because I said there's going to be some powerful nuggets dropped.
Yes.
You don't want to miss that.
Yeah.
You don't want to miss that.
I was thinking about that from the beginning, like, man, how can we put together, and it was actually some of the top speakers that we had for the event that we had for real life real estate investing. And I was like, man, how can I get all of them together on one panel to be able to, you know, and it came together. Dr. David Anderson was one. Robert Yancey. Robert Yancey is phenomenal. Like, I don't know if anybody ever listened to him speak.
Let me tell you something. You guys were on the other day, and I was listening to him talking about he had 8 deals fall out.
Yes.
And I said, thank you. I don't feel so bad when I lost 3. The ones that I just told you about. Because you kind of feel some kind of way when your deals fall out, like maybe you're not doing something right, or you kind of feel like you failed. But when you hear somebody like Mr. Wonderful, who drives a Maserati, tell you he lost 8 deals, you like, I'm doing something right. That's just a part of this business. Keep it pushing. Keep it pushing. So now you know I'm really listening. I'm not just here faking and playing. I'm listening to everything you say, because you learn. And if people right here listening, learning, would take the time, like go in the bathroom if you're at work, but listen, because you're going to pick up something that's going to help you.
Absolutely. You know? And that's why, you know, I wanted to give a shout out to Robin, because she said even at work she was sneaking away to try and watch the show.
Yeah, you better. You better sneak away.
We have Mr. Maverick Robinson. I don't know what our time is looking like.
Hey, Maverick, that's the money man. Y'all need some money? You need a loan?
Oh, it's one before that?
Call Mr. Maverick.
Oh, Jeffrey says, I'm sorry, how can I get a copy of your handbook?
You can email me. I'll get it to you. But you have to actually be on my team. Because my handbook says everything that you're doing in there is going to get us to the closing table. So I don't want you to take my handbook and say, oh, I'm finna run with this. When you quit your job, you jump and you leave, I'm going to give you a handbook. The game is to be sold, not told.
Not told, that's right.
What y'all want me to do? What you want me to do? It's real.
That is real talk there.
Real talk, real life real estate.
Real life real estate
Please
investing.
understand it. Please believe me.
That is great stuff. Mr. Maverick, we call him the money man, man Maverick. He said, what's the benefit of having cash on hand to purchase wholesale properties? Oh, man, you know, we could, that's a whole other show there.
The benefit is just being able to close quickly. Being able to get it at a cheaper price, because you can buy at cheaper prices with cash, as opposed to making the seller wait for the hard money and all the red tape that goes with it. So I need some cash, Mr. Maverick.
And
he's a good guy.
He actually got a program when he's getting, I think at a 660, you can get a 660 or 680 credit score, up to $100,000 in cash.
Right.
So I'm like, yeah, that's good stuff. He's actually going to be at Master the Money Game.
Oh, okay, good.
So you guys definitely want to check him out because he's got the money.
January 20th, you guys do not miss it.
Yes, indeed. Let me see. We have Terry Marie Bridges says, great info. Thanks for watching, Terry. Next Step Capital can get you cash in 5 to 7 days. Maverick, 5 to 7 days. He did it for one of my folks before, so
he did.
I know it can be done.
It's real.
So we're being told that it's time for us to wrap it up.
Okay.
But listen, I have had so much fun today. I want to thank you again and again and again for taking the time out of your schedule and putting your 50 signs up today.
So guess what I'm going to do while I'm out here? I'm going to hit this area. They in my back seat. Look, you guys don't understand. This is real. I'm going to hit this area up north because I haven't been up this way in a minute. So you best believe that I'm going to utilize it. But that's definitely what I'm going to do. And I'm going to hit the ATMs.
Look at that. That's what I'm talking about.
See, you feel that? That's not your average card. That's a billboard, miniature size billboard. You want to get the camera on that?
Yes,
and then it says,
make sure you get that.
619-736-0250. And then on the back, any place, any area, any condition, quick close.
And
all the information. So I took that marketing down miniature size to where I can put them anywhere.
That's good.
And that's basically the game changer.
Cynthia Buys Houses, the marketing beast.
Marketing guru.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys for watching. Thank you again, Cynthia,
thank
for being
you for
here.
having me.
We're going to talk about some other stuff. I'm going to have to tell you when we're done with the show about something we've been talking about that I might be considering you for as well.
Okay.
But thank you for being
Put
here.
me in, Coach.
Shout out to Dennis, the true man behind the woman.
Yes. Oh yes. You gotta
true
give
man
him the
behind
credit.
the woman. We give a shout out to Dennis. He does his thing as well. Okay, thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to check out Master the Money Game at January 20th. Tickets right now, I think they were $97. Are we still doing the $59 special? Okay, there's 5 more tickets. He's telling me there's 5 more tickets.
3 more tickets.
Okay, 3 more tickets for $59. So listen, guys, go ahead and check that out, masterthemoneygameworkshop.com. We're going to be giving you guys some phenomenal information.
Yes.
Check out Cynthia Buys Houses. Do you have a website? How do they get in contact with you?
I basically just have my email. I'm working now towards getting a website. Okay. So that'll be coming soon. All right. So I'm growing.
So look for CynthiaBuysHouses.com. Make sure you get that before somebody else tries to get it. Oh, yeah. And your contact information? Contact information is
619-736-0250.
Check it out. All right. Real life real estate investing. This has been our first show of the year. Phenomenal guest the first time. She might be a host one day real soon. So y'all definitely stay tuned. We'll be back next week. Same time, same channel. Thank y'all for watching.